Summit on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. And I am here with Tara Smith. Hi, Tara.
Hi.
Hi. Tara is the State of Washington Director of the Department of Enterprise Services, lovingly referred to as DES.
Yes.
All right, there we go. I got that mouthful out, which means we can have a real conversation. First, I want to start with, why are you here? Why is this summit important to you?
Well, NASCA in general is important to me. When I started in this role at the state level a year ago, I had some understandings to gain because in my prior public service, I was at the county level in Miami-Dade County, and that is public service. I ran a lot of the same operations, but I wasn't thinking at a state level. And so NASCA has really helped me achieve that perspective and learning from all of my colleagues across this country who are largely doing the same work that I'm doing. And so many different ways has been a great benefit.
Oh, I love that. I love and
so I
to
make
be
it
clear,
to all the NASCA conferences.
I know you do, because I'm at all the NASCA conferences, and Tara's always here, and to that end, adding energy to the room and asking questions and jumping in the mix. There's a way to do NASCA, and I see you embody that every time I see you. So I really dig that. So let's talk about Washington State, because you all are doing some pretty cool work. It sounds like, and this is not always the case, you've got from the top down, Governor Inslee has just put some pieces on the board and said, we're going to play. And so there's the PAIR plan. I'll let you talk about that. There's an Office of Equity, a couple executive orders that have been passed down. There is movement happening up in the top corner of our country, and I really dig that. So I think we'll spend the next couple minutes just talking about what you're up to.
Yeah, and it's a lot, so stop me in between.
No, I want to hear all of it.
It's all very exciting, and you're right. Before I even came to Washington, Governor Inslee had created a policy for a respectful workplace environment. That has grown over the years in his administration to the Office of Equity that he established.
And that's new?
That's new.
Okay.
It was approved by the legislature literally just a year and a half ago, I believe, and funded at the right level to start in this past year, and continues to grow because the responsibilities of that office continue to grow. So that office has helped us as agency leaders start to think a different way. Governor Inslee also instituted in this year alone, in the beginning of 2022, 3 different executive orders. So he's setting policy that different agencies, including mine and the Office of Equity, the Office of Minority and Women Business Enterprise, that we all share different levels of responsibility for implementing. So I can highlight those.
All right. 3 executive orders. Did all 3 end up on your plate, or are they kind of spread across responsibility areas?
Agencies and requires a lot of close partnerships that I have and we're working toward. And it's not just our agencies, right? The exciting part is that that 3rd executive order really brings all the agencies together under the same umbrella. So
let's talk about the EOs.
The first one that largely does fall within my agency's responsibility, and that's 2201. 2201 is all about state contracting.
So procurement?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
So DES is Washington State's Procurement Authority. So it's highlighting all the ways that state agencies are required to contribute toward equity in contracting. We know in the state of Washington that there is disparity. This was found in a disparity report in 2019 that women and minorities do not have equal access to contracting in the state of Washington. Can
I jump in and say thank you for putting words to that, right? There are disparity studies, and we've all seen them and we all read them, but you just own that, hey, we're not hitting the mark, and that's how we move forward. And so thank you for that. All right, sorry to derail you. That's cool.
No, and it's important to start there. Right? There's a reason why we're doing all of this work. There is disparity. We know this. What are we doing about it? So 2201 puts some legs under that fact, because a lot of agencies are doing a lot of things, but this initiative now is putting us all in a place where we're going to be accountable for it. My role in that is very exciting because my agency has just recently, as of September 1st, implemented the state's first supplier diversity policy.
Okay.
Which means that agencies are now required to use certain procurement methods that are designed to increase diverse spend, right? Like unbundling big contracts to allow for smaller
business to, yeah.
There's a lot of great examples. I could talk about it for hours. I love that topic.
I could talk about it for hours. We just don't have.
That would be fun. I know.
All right, we're gonna sit here after the cameras are done rolling and just talk procurement. Yeah, I dig that. Okay.
That policy, like I said, is just getting implemented, and it starts with 6 months of training. Right?
For
so
who gets
everybody?
Everyone 6 months of training.
If it's your job to purchase anything in the state of Washington, you have to attend this mandatory training.
Okay.
So that we're setting everybody up for success.
So is that so you get common language and understand where bias can pop up and rear its ugly head? Like just get everybody on the same page foundationally so we can move forward as a state. That's incredible.
And guess what?
Is that you?
That includes leaders.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
So I'm going to be going through my own mandatory training.
Okay.
Here soon, as will every agency leader across the state, and I think that's a really important place to start. So again, I could go on about supplier diversity.
Yeah, it's important.
It's
all right, but you got a couple other executive orders that we're getting to.
Direction,
okay.
Yes.
What's the second one?
2202, which immediately followed, is more generally about DEI across the state, and it's called equity in state government.
Great.
So there's a few different ways between hiring, of course, contracting, which we covered, and then strategic planning, different ways that state agencies are being held accountable for including DEI in our programming.
Yeah.
One of those ways that my agency, DES, does own is in the statewide mandatory DEI training.
Okay.
So one of the things in my agency is, among other operations, is the statewide learning platform.
Okay.
So it came to my agency for that reason, from a learning perspective, and it only had, a few years ago, it only had a small amount of money.
Yeah. Do you have L&D folks in the agency?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. And are they running that?
I have the experts in my team
Super
who are
cool.
putting together that curriculum with a lot of stakeholders, but it was barely funded, right?
Okay.
It was called statewide training, but we had funding for like 2 positions.
Yeah.
So to their credit, our legislature in early 2022 fully funded that program.
Yeah.
So it's really important when you talk about, and I heard Dara talking about this in her book, creating that leadership accountability and putting resources behind it is something that I talk about a lot. The stakeholders who are doing business with the state talk about a lot.
But it's got to be both, right? Like it can't just be, hey, go do this.
Right.
The resources have to be there to support it. Otherwise, we're setting our leaders up for failure and frustration. And okay, so we've got both. We've got the mandate and the resources, and it's funded. Okay.
It's funded. And now all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I have to hire 25 people.
Yeah.
And we're almost ready to do that. So we think we're hiring to help deliver DEI training across the state of Washington.
Yeah.
That's very exciting.
Incredible. And then the third executive order.
The third executive order is 2204.
Yeah.
2204.
So we skipped one. We got 2201, 2202, 22. No, I'm not going to. I just want to know that there is a 3, and we've intentionally jumped over. Okay, all right.
It's not mine.
It's just not yours. All right, so 2204 is the third executive order. Okay.
Yes, is laying out the plan for agencies to follow the Office of Equity's pro-equity, anti-racist playbook.
PAIR.
Yeah, so I'm going to use the word PAIR here, and it means pro-equity, anti-racist.
Okay.
We have all sorts of PAIR jokes now across the state.
No comment. I didn't touch it. I'm not going to take a bite out of that at all.
Right. Good one.
Sorry.
No, lovingly, because this work is really becoming a part of the way we do business. We are, again, starting at the top. Every agency director, like myself, I'm filming mine on Tuesday, is required to record a statement.
Yeah.
To record a statement about what my agency's stance on racism is.
Wow.
And that's powerful when you make agency leaders sit down and think that through,
and think about it,
to it,
yeah,
and then articulate it
to their people,
and record it.
Yeah. Wow.
So I'm excited to do that on Tuesday, and I'm including my entire leadership team.
Yeah.
to do that. But there's a lot more to it than that. That's one of many different ways that the Office of Equity is, again, beginning to hold leaders accountable.
I feel like this pair plan is really filling out.
It's
good.
And from both ways, right? From the top down with that video statement, and the bottom up, because I have employees across my agency, and every agency does across our state, also doing equity impact reviews. So going program by program, all the services that we provide, and how are those services impacting our stakeholders, and putting thought to that, putting numbers around that, finding ways that we can do that better, and get those program deliveries better. It's exciting to see that happening on kind of both ends of my agency, and agency leaders we're talking about it. When we're in meetings, and I had dinner with a colleague the other night, and we actually asked ourselves, like, so how's your pair planning going?
Is it real?
Like, this is a conversation that we're having at the dinner table and at the conference room table, and we're chatting with each other about how it's going and how are you doing this and how are you doing that. So I'm really excited that it's becoming embedded in the work that we do every day at the leadership and at every level of government.
Just really digesting the pair plan. I like that. That's the last joke I'll make on the pair front. But like, no, there's so much happening, and it's intentional, and I love that. It doesn't matter what I think. Like, you all are doing the work, and it sounds like doing it really well. So we were talking about Dara's book, and just an incredible one that helps you do your work. The support from the top, the support from your people, the support from your peers, and the conversation that you can have, like all of that. When I think about what this work looks like in state government, and all of your colleagues and peers here at NASCA, as they talk about that, it sounds like you all are at the cutting edge of a lot of this, and that's incredible. So
lots of hearts and minds to change. And,
of course, always.
And to talk to, it's hard work, right? It doesn't come naturally all the time in every conversation. So I'm very grateful for the Chief Equity Officer that I have on my team, who happens to have Dr. Adrian Thompson, a shout out to him, happens to have a background in clinical psychology.
Oh, incredible.
And so
that probably helps.
That every Equity Officer should have that sort of expertise and skill set, because we're having real conversations about this work and growing and learning from each other, and that makes it really, really meaningful work.
Well, Tara, I've had an opportunity to grow and learn in this conversation alone, but all the incredible work you're doing in the state of Washington. So, Tara Smith, folks, the Director of the Department of Enterprise Services in the state of Washington, first off, congratulations on all the work you're doing.
Thank you.
Second, thank you for sharing with us all the work you're doing. I'm looking forward to watching that progress. So, appreciate you.
Thank you.
We'll talk soon.